What's your ideal number of quiz contestants? The cosy pairing of a countdown? The classic 3 of a chain letters or Wheel of Fortune? Or maybe the 3 pairs of a Strike It Lucky? Perhaps unsettled by empty spaces, you prefer the 9 of a Weakest Link, or the titular 15 to 1. But what about, say, 1,000? 1,000 contestants all playing for a single prize. With a full 1,000 players, TVS's Ultra Quiz was essentially light entertainment Squid Game, adapted from a Japanese show, the Trans-America Ultra Quiz, which began with 10,000 players in a baseball stadium. The first series, hosted by Michael Aspel, Sally James, Russell Grant and Jonathan King, kicked off in '83 with 500 contestants, but that was doubled for the series we're watching, Ultra Quiz 84. Willie Rushton's a sort of public school Sasquatch, more of a henchman than co-host, given free rein to avuncularly growl his cryptic crossword-style witticisms. We begin with Frost headed to Bewley Motor Museum, and driver/bodyguard Gareth Hunt protecting a mysterious red briefcase.
What contents? A prize. A prize of £10,000 in cash. A prize to be won outright by one person before the summer is over.
The modern equivalent of about 30 grand got everyone really excited in '84, especially considering what prizes consisted of back then. But this is no normal quiz, it's an ultra quiz, playing out over 9 weeks, literally across the entire globe.
That's a sort of cross between Mastermind and Around the World in 80 days.
Players are checked in by Willie and some high-tech computers.
What brought you here, greed or just a...
I think greed.
Day out?
Absolutely greed, yes, totally.
You're you're visually exciting. Where have you come from?
Wagons! Oh!
By the way, if you think I choose things solely on the basis I can keep saying Willie, grow up.
Willie will take care of you.
Willie. And what a pair of classic driving mimes from Dave and Lord Bewley.
We're looking forward to your participation in the great parade later on.
Everyone crammed on a fleet of buses to the field of play. Excitement is palpable.
Money, 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 it's a rich man's world.
Next to your regular quiz, this feels like the greatest show on earth, with a proper carnival atmosphere. But can it possibly live up to the hype?
David Frost!
Hello, good evening, and 1,000 welcomes.
They're gonna need some budget, carting 1,000 people all over the world, which is why they basically just cheat, booting out 972 in the first episode, in a giant game of runaround.
When the flag of Belgium is properly unfurled, which colour is closest to the flagpole? Yellow, black, or red?
Go! Looks like ants going for a dropped Freddo.
30 seconds to go.
Make up your mind, Columbo.
William Rushton next.
Losers removed by Willie and Lady hockey players. The mob are further whittled down by an observation round. Stars and cars, accompanied by some live tracking core. Huge vibe of a small town carnival, if the town you live in is hell.
Following on, we have a 1907 Gobron Bouillet fire engine with Bernie Winters acting out every boy's fantasy as our honorary fire chief for the day.
Carol Drinkwater in a Rolls with a big teddy. Liz Fraser with a bunch of balloons. A giant orange. Annika Rice in a sidecar. It's the final flickers of my brain as I lay dying from a hit and run by a massive orange.
Next, we have the magical Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and look who's sitting pretty in it. Faith Brown and Arthur Mullard, along with the irrepressible Dom Estelle in the ejector seat.
Contestants get the boot after failing to answer questions like, what colour hat was Arthur Mullard wearing?
Willie, do your worst.
When they bring out a hydroplane for a final brain teaser, the music gets so seductive, it seems like Frost's about to fuck it.
Donald Campbell's record-breaking Bluebird. That's going to be the subject right now. It's one of the most magnificent of all the exhibits here at Bewley.
Hello, good evening. I'm about to shag this boat.
Oh, at last I'm free. I'm on my way.
The surviving 28 find themselves on a French beach, in scenes which could be mistaken for the opening of a new Saw movie.
All we're waiting for now is Willie Rushton. Where is that man?
Pour vous, ouvrez la bouche. Oh mon dear, and catastrophe.
A simple true or false. Think it's wrong, open your gob. All that effort burying 28 people up to their necks for a single question, which nobody gets wrong.
So they've all survived.
Straight into a quick change quiz, scrambling into swimwear and assembling deck chairs.
And they're off on their way to get the swimwear. No good just holding it, you've got to be wearing it, and it's got to be matching. Remember, it's got to be matching. There they go. Now they've got to put up the deck chairs facing in this direction.
Seems like fun telly, doesn't it? Except, once they're sat down, they have to fill out questions on a clipboard with a pen. Then Frost gives out answers and they mark themselves like a pub quiz. After its thrilling opening, Ultra Quiz almost entirely consists of taking people round the world and sitting them down to quietly scribble on forms.
It's something the French call grenouille. What are grenouille?
Something that fills an empty Gino Ginelli right up to the brim when you're stuck in bank holiday traffic. They do their best to keep the format fresh, like sticking Ruth Maddock up a balcony in Belgium.
It was an early day in June. I had been transacting some business in Paris and was returning by the morning service to London.
Did you get that one, Bruce?
No, I'm afraid I put Pam Ayres.
And in Paris, dressing everyone up as Neil Buchanan in Zap. But the real fun comes in games devised by the one Tory you're allowed to like, Giles Brandreth, such as whiffing 10 goblets to guess what stink is inside.
Smell number one.
Is it one of Mr. Rushton's blow-offs? Then there's a sudden death juggling challenge. Whoever drops first is eliminated.
Everybody's still in at the moment.
That's not juggling, it's just throwing and catching. And yet, still controversial.
But I'm just getting a message now from the judges that, in fact, as Brenda dropped the ring there, they were about to disqualify the gentleman third from the end here, Jerry, for not throwing it high enough from the hand up into the air.
Only one way to solve this. Sudden death playoff between Brenda and Jerry.
Music maestro, please.
Golden age of television. Bye Jerry, cheating piece of shit. All losing contestants are sent off by Willie in a comedy skit. And like on Bullseye, their failure is accompanied by a downbeat minor key version of the theme.
Don't think of this as humiliation. I mean, how do you think David Frost started? I think a blood stain there you might remove. Well done, Sheila.
Part of me thinks Frost signed up when he realised he could alter his catchphrase for each country.
Hello, bonsoir, et bienvenue. Hello, guten Abend, and welcome.
Aloha. Good evening and welcome.
The Eiffel Tower, forever the symbol of what used to be called Gay Paris until the meaning of the word changed.
After more pen and paper stuff, they have to guess which can-can dancer is a man in disguise.
Let us see the answer.
Historically, camera work on every can-can is basically, here's some fannies for ya. Just legalised upskirting. Shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't be allowed at all. I think the cameramen are generally a bit randy.
In 1973, Dustin Hoffman and Steve McQueen starred in a film set in a French penal colony.
It's like bloody TFI Friday. Cleanse yourself with a nice close-up of a man with a cold sore resentfully eating snails. The faces in the background of almost every shot are a work of art. Say what you like about Ultra Quiz, but the chase never cut away from the beast to a random old man with an umbrella balanced on his head.
Absolutely right. And we're on to the words and music game.
Good morning.
Will you welcome Miss Barbara Windsor? Oh, thank you very much indeed. Will you help me with the game?
I'd love to, darling.
All right.
Oh, exciting. Wonder what game they'll be playing.
And so the answer to question number 5, Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh. Feel bad for Babs though. She's 47 here, in a maid outfit in drizzly Paris, making saucy cracks about fine art.
What do you think of it, Barbara?
I think she looks like she's being goosed. You wouldn't get too many cuddles out of her, would you?
Talking of saucy cracks. Episode 4's in Bruges for the classic apprentice shopping task, given a list of items and banned from using English.
1, 2, 3.
Bruce has got en ballon there. Bruce Newland's en ballon. There's Hattie. She's got the lady's hat. Look at her. Watch that girl go. Look at her. And here she is. Here comes Valerie. Here comes Hattie. Here comes Leslie.
With 3 on joint lowest, we need a tiebreaker. Rock, paper, scissors. First to answer a question. Or identifying chocolate animals by touch alone.
Okay. Ready, steady, touch.
Elephant.
Correct.
Incidentally, these rips were all taped off the telly with ad breaks included, leading me to stumble on arguably the single worst advert ever made.
Entertaining the kids during their school holidays isn't easy, is it? So come on, come on. Off you go.
Thank goodness this is the age of the train.
Now down to 11 players. Episode 5 goes proper big money glam. LA, baby.
Hattie Ison from Coventry. Bruce Newlands from Redhill. Angela Brooks from Stanwick. Valerie Gould from North Devon. Lisa Harding from Solihull. You're reminded constantly that this is life in the city of the future.
Anybody particularly alarmed by this?
What, the possibility of being trapped in a lift with Willie Rushton? Not at all, mate.
Not so fast, folks. The first game is here. So we thought we'd have 5 questions right now about phobias.
Apologies, ma'am, but you'll have to take the stairs as a British gentleman's holding a pub quiz in the elevator. Your room is on floor 96.
Now we're in La La Land. Celebrity guests are a step up from Bernie Winters.
Oh my God! I love that man's music.
Good Lord, Patrick McNee. Are you still working on it?
Yes, I've been working the last 40 years.
Blindfolds on for another taste test. It's far more important than anything McNee's got to say.
What was your first break in Los Angeles? Don't tell me for a minute, they're coming up to the end of their time.
10, 9, 8.
Still time for Willie to be lecturous though.
What a sporty little creature. Okay, blindfolds off.
In more scintillating television, contestants are tasked with memorising star names on the Walk of Fame. I bet when Nelson Eddy was starring in Naughty Marietta, he never dreamed one day a pigeon would be filmed drinking out of his handprints while Willie Rushton pretended to be startled by his own whistle. Don't be afraid to dream, kids.
Of course, not everyone leaves just 4 prints. In fact, Dolly Parton left 6. I don't know whether you noticed that.
That's Dolly Parton's tits.
One thing about Frost, he really likes when losing contestants go out with a gag.
It's been great having you with us, Ian.
It's been great being here. Thanks very much. I shall take it bravely. I shall go out with my chin high and probably go and shoot myself.
All right, we'll be there to watch.
By the time we get to Disneyland, there's 7 ladies and 2 fellas remaining for a very problematic trivia quiz.
Which river flows over the Victoria Falls? Which river flows over the Victoria Falls?
There's no earthly way of knowing. As discussed in my Royal Variety vids, this is that manky period Disney, wheezing along on decades-old IP, and everyone looks like they've had enough by this point.
What was the name of the sword? Well, now on fairy tales you should do rather well because you're our youngest competitor at 18, so you must remember them, do you?
18? Where was a paper round? The Cambodian killing fields?
Do you know a lot about fairies?
No, not really, no.
Continuing the theme, it's on to Universal Studios.
Good morning.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
British shows in the 80s were always off to the movies. The Dream Factory, The Magic of Tinseltown, tinny instrumental of Hooray for Hollywood over footage of studio backlots. These days we're all half glancing at some $200 million Netflix movie that's streaming on our wristwatches.
Yes, it's quarterfinals time today here on Ultra Quiz in Hollywood. This is where you get a close-up of Hollywood, behind and in front of the scenes. Movies like the airport movies, the Smokey and the Bandit movies.
The Nutty Professor 2, the Clumps movies.
As well as Knight Rider, this is also
David.
the home of the Incredible Hulk,
David.
of Kojak, and
David.
also of the spectacular
David!
80s.
The quality's too low here, but if I whack the contrast up, look at the frightening Mr. T dummy next to Willie.
Lights, camera, action.
Making the most of an Old West set. A legitimate quick-fire quiz where contestants very nervously fire a 6-shooter.
Who was the lawman who hunted down Billy the Kid? In 68.
Wild Bill Pickup.
Wild Bill it is indeed.
Did he just say...
Wild Bill Pickup.
As a losing contestant goes off in style, do we think that's the real Mr. T, or...
Howdy, sucker!
Unfortunately, between rounds, Willie blocked the toilets with a tremendous poo.
Run for your life!
James, there's a flash dance coming.
No, let's go, right.
18-year-old teenager and definitely not undercover cop Lisa is through to the semis, where the gang are off to Hawaii. Just 5 players left for that 10 grand prize, and they must be exhausted.
I wonder how you would spend a £10,000 windfall.
Tub of Lurpak and put the heating on for 20 minutes? After another round of questions, teen Lisa is out. Back to scoffing down polos to cover up the smell of ciggies. Though as she leaves, Willie jokingly implies she's about to be assaulted.
I think you'll enjoy the next bit.
With a beach treasure hunt theme, Willie hands out bottles with riddles inside. But these are 80s style brain teasers, which rely on you not remembering that women exist.
2 Hawaiians were walking along Waikiki Beach. One Hawaiian was the father of the other Hawaiian's son.
I can't operate on him. He's my son. By now, the constant plane hopping's getting to them, and David just outs everyone's sexual exploits on their travels.
Hattie has also got 8 lays. Linda, 5 lays at the moment. And Brian, who's going to have to organise a magnificent fight back now, has got 2 lays.
Must be the tash. But after 9 long weeks, we're finally at an end.
Hello, good evening and welcome to historic Arundel Castle.
Frosty must have swung his connections for residents of the Duke of Norfolk, whose daughter he married the previous year.
And on a clear day, the sea. Some people even say you can see father. Or in one case, father-in-law.
And we're now down to a final 3.
Linda Kent, Hattie Ison, or Bruce Newlands.
Throughout the series, they do a really poor job making you connect with the contestants, with no real interaction outside of asking if they had a nice time when they're eliminated. It's been 9 weeks, but we know less about the final 3 than someone who's first out on the chase. Not until the last episode do we get to hear their stories, or even remember their name.
Linda, if I may interrupt your game for a minute. Love your new, shorter hairstyle, by the way.
Thank you. But even though he couldn't talk properly because he had so many tubes coming in and out of him, he managed to give me a really good thumbs-up sign and say, please, please go.
With about 15 minutes left in the series, it suddenly turns into the Krypton factor.
A wash dolly or peggy stick.
Bruce is eliminated, proving that, despite blokes on here making whole channels moaning about Brie Larson, scientifically, irrefutably, girls is best. The final 10 minutes switches format entirely to go live.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Barons Hall, Arundel Castle, the final round to decide the £10,000 winner of Ultra Quiz 1984.
Thank you, my good man. Live, right now. Hattie Ison on my left, Linda Kent on my right.
Families are watching in the front row as Frost returns from the castle armoury with a pair of swords, for the players to duel to the death. Stop being silly, it's just more quizzing, between 2 women at the top of their game.
Tottenham Hotspur.
Correct.
Everton.
Correct.
Notts County.
Correct.
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Correct.
Eddie Cochran.
Correct.
After 9 weeks, 30,000 miles, and dozens of whimsical asides from Willie Rushton, it's all down to 90 seconds of general knowledge.
Sarajevo.
Correct!
To the delight of her parents, Linda takes it. In a moment so emotional, even the nation's journalistic rock, David Frost, starts to go.
Linda said that she wanted to start a new business, and you can do it. What a good answer to unemployment. Go out there and give them hell. Thank you, and God bless you all from Ultra Quiz 84.
Ultra Quiz was probably best enjoyed in its native setting, week to week, back when the world was small and 10 grand could set up a new life. Watched over 2 sittings in 2023 while absolutely toad sick with fucking COVID seems to amplify all its worst qualities. Regardless, Ultra Quiz 85 would switch out Frost for a new host in Stu Francis, along with a greatly reduced budget. Rest assured, if the full series of that makes its way online, I'll meet you back here to discuss it.
Willie!
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 Willie!